Safety forces in Hindu-administered Kashmir include annihilated more than rather than 50 militants with the start of the year. Samir Yasir accountable how funerals in the area, that has seen an gunman rebellion versus Hindu guideline with 1989, include be a portion of regional folk. As the flesh of the belligerent, draped in verdant, is eventually laid down to otherwise, female chant songs of bloodstream and valor. The flesh is located on a homemade plate so mourners can get a nice type. Human beings lift their hands in awe to concern the flesh. Youthful men shove via the hustling mob to kiss him the belligerent's brow. Later they concern his feet and rub their hands on their flesh, as if performance is sectarian ritualistic. One latter afternoon in April, a old female in profound sunk eyes and grey wool, rotated up at the burial for a belligerent who had been annihilated in a gunfight the day up. She had a verdant polyethylene bag by her hand. "I include go to say farewell to my child," Zina Begum announced in a slim vote to mourners at the burial of 19-year-old Ubaid Shafi Mullah, who had omitted out of school and united a separatist fighter team, the Hizbul Mujahideen, in February 2017. Although she was not Mullah's biologic mom, she told she had STF'd him while he was an baby. Tiring a velvety furan, a conventional cashmere raincoat, she had walked more than rather than 7 many kilometers in a couple of dry plasticity sandals to the burial in Trends countryside of Shopian in southern Kashmir. She had crisscrossed palm orchards to escape detect by forces, complete gateway to halt irate supporters of militants of visiting the burial. The mob raised her on their shoulders and transferred her to Mullah's shot-penetrated flesh. One day down there, she kissed his shot-pocked, distorted person, took a fistful of candies of the bag and threw them on his flesh, a heritage observable while Kashmir grooms back household in their brides. She later aimed the mob. "Would you love to be a police force official?" she began, to that the irate mob chanted behind, "Not, we win tea." "Would you love to be a belligerent?" she extended. "Affirmative, we will," the mob roared in answer. "Would you love to be tigress?" she told, indicating to a neighboring countryside wherever a renowned Kashmir belligerent Samir Bhatt, as well named as Samir Tigress, was annihilated the early one week. "Affirmative we wish for," the mob answered. "Later say it loud," she shouted. "Azadi. Liberty," the mob answered. The female got downward of the plate and disappeared in the mob. There was one amongst the 6 funerals the reporter has coded in the recent 3-year, nearly all of them in 5 districts of southward Kashmir. The junior general of Kashmiris, driven by the dark of the cannon, are connecting the belligerent rebellion in numbers not seen in more than rather than 10 years. These youthful men now hazard their lives in front line of duel bullets to rescue their part model, militants fight versus Hindu guideline. They stay in front line of Hindu troop vehicles and cast stone at them. They unit roads and by lanes while mob are stymied by safety forces. Later they cast stone at them. In the trial, lot of them include been annihilated, more than rather than 30 include dead the year 1. Belligerent lead Boran Wanis die in a gunfight in by the government forces in July 2016 had sparked a helical of fatal abuse in the Muslim-majority Vale. While his shut boyfriend and belligerent Saddam Patter dead newly, his burial was visited by thousands of human beings. It was maybe the other largest burial following How of Wani. One of such annihilated in-house skirmish was a social scientist of Kashmir College who was annihilated less than rather than 40 several hours following connecting the team. For these infinite funerals more than youthful men are encouraged to exceed the militants. Largest of them were unborn following the commencement of rebellion in 1989. They are the family of dispute. One 17-year-old little boy, Zubair Ahmed, had evaded 6 checkpoints intended to halt human beings of visiting Patter's burial. There was the 16th funerals of a Kashmir belligerent he has visited in the recent 2 year. He monitored as a team of militants in AK-47s in one brush and sticks in else to hold human beings at a range since of the blower-like servility they get, arriving at the burial to propose a cannon welcome to their fall companion. Pater's mom kissed the brow of one of the mob, expressive the mourners he was her some child. A day they will pull India out of Kashmir, she shouted. The mob answered in slogans versus India. Following the gun welcome, the mob cheered. But Mr. Ahmed wept since he unsuccessful to get nearer to the militants. The adolescent was detained recent year following his pictures emerging on Facebook on in a belligerent for one of these funerals. Mr. Ahmed told his career is above since of the repeated police force cases versus him, transfer him inappropriate for by the government jobs. A date, you will see me keeping an AK-47 and shooting love thee in the airborne, Mr. Ahmed told eerily. Later you will remember my speech.